Welcome to the news segment of Dateline. I am Princess Modi. The State Deputy Governor, Samonde Oyeme, has called on party members to remain loyal. Speaking during the PDP's thank you tour to Utabobe, Ward 1, Etwa Etiti, Ward 2, and Indemili, Ward 3, Oyeme acknowledged reports of individuals leaving the party, saying their decisions were motivated by greed and self-interest rather than genuine concerns. He pointed out that politics was a collective effort and not an individual pursuit, adding that it was only fair to support those who had supported others who held positions in the past. The deputy governor stressed that Governor Sheriff Oborewari was committed to inclusive governance, stressing that not receiving an immediate appointment did not mean one had been sidelined. He said the aim of the visit was to thank the people for standing by the PDP over the years. During the visit, the state deputy chairman of the party, Elder Moses Idu, welcomed individuals who returned to the party from other political groups. Some political leaders present reaffirmed their belief in the PDP, asserting that there was no better alternative. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Mr. Joseph Utsev, has called for stronger water conservation efforts as Nigeria joins the global community in marking this year's World Water Day. Speaking to newsmen in Abuja, Mr. Utsev said the theme of the observance, glacier preservation, reflected on the significance to global water security and the impact of climate change on fresh water resources. He noted that although Nigeria did have glaciers, the rapid melting due to climate change was contributing to rising sea levels, erratic weather patterns, and freshwater shortages. The minister added that the ministry had implemented several initiatives to address these problems and to improve water access and sustainability, even as it was investing in irrigation, solar-powered boreholes, and flood monitoring to improve water use and management. He called for a collaborative approach to tackling Nigeria's water challenges, urging the private sector to invest in eco-friendly technologies for sustainable water management, and called on non-government organizations and research institutions to raise awareness on climate resilience and community-based adaptation strategies. Mr. Utsev also called on individuals and communities to adopt water-saving habits and support environmental sustainability efforts. He expressed appreciation to international partners such as the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, for their continued support, reaffirming the country's commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation for all by 2030. Believers have been charged to cultivate godly virtues that will keep them on track in the race of salvation. Officiating today at the Asaba branch of the God's Kingdom Society, GKS Worldwide, an elder of the church, Brother Ejiro Ogenaga, listed such virtues to include faith, patience, hope, charity, and brotherly kindness. The report.
Ogenaga urged the people to strive to always do the things that please God. In our sermon, Brother Isaac Tubo enjoined the people to look to God in times of trouble, as he alone could give help in time of need. Brother Tubo pointed out that since man by nature was born into trouble, believers needed the help of God at all times, especially in this age of the end of the world. He charged the people to seek refuge in God by living godly and righteous lives, taking their requests to him in prayers and trusting in him with all their hearts. The speaker warned against seeking help from other gods, stressing that such one could not save, as it was Jehovah, the Almighty God alone, that could save.
That we should let be satisfied. First of all, appreciate the goodness of God. That we have life, and leg, we have food to eat. close to where. Thank God for all these good things. And like Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 4, 6 and 7, make our request be known to God with thanksgiving.
The service featured special choral renditions in praise of God's goodness and power. Henry Onogwa reporting.
Residents of Achalibuzo area of Asaba have heaved a sigh of relief with expressions of gratitude to the state governor, the Right Honorable Sheriff Oberewori, for the ongoing 6.5-kilometer Achalibuzo road being executed by the state government. Henry Onogwa reports.
The residents who were thrilled with the road project said it would bring to an end the hardship they have faced over the years due to the deplorable state of the road. They narrated their sufferings before the road construction and they thanked the governor for the inspection earlier carried out at the site and joining him to keep up with the good work.
Our governor is doing active work. Because after I've not seen any governor that use a hand. Go anywhere they are doing road. Come and check where they are doing road. Come and check, to example, where they are doing road. But he did a lot for him to come using his own leg, match foot, check what they are doing road. I appreciate him a lot.
I've lived there for more than 20 years. I've been working my car, swimming water. The governor is good. I love the governor. He's doing nice work.
We thank the governor for remembering us.
Because he tried for make the road for us to be okay for us. So I will thank the governor of Delta State.
The respondents appealed to the state government to prevail on the contractor to expedite action on the completion of the road, especially in view of the pending rains and the health hazard posed by the constant dust.
But they want him to put in more effort. They make sure that this road is being constructed.
It be like this, we can't be happy as the thing there, but we are begging government to complete the road.
My plea to the government is to put more effort so that the road will be okay for us.
The rain start now, we don't see road take pass again. We are begging them, they can't do the road for us. Now beg with the beg.
The people said Governor Oberewori's efforts would further enhance the image of the state capital, expressing confidence in his ability to complete what he had started. The Achalibuzo Road, which houses several religious organizations and business enterprises, had before now been in a deplorable condition for more than 20 years, placing untold hardship on the residents and adherents of the various religious organizations as well as workers in the business establishment situated there. The ongoing construction of the road has come as a silver lining in a long prevailing cloud. Henry Onogwa reporting.
The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, has warned the officers of the force against enforcing unlawful and prolonged detentions. That directive followed growing public concern over reports of arbitrary arrests and detentions by some police officers. Mr. Egbetokun, in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Olumuyiwa Adejobi, stressed that any officer found violating constitutional provisions on human rights would face serious consequences. He reaffirmed the police leadership's commitment to upholding human rights and ensuring due process in all detention procedures, noting that unlawful detentions eroded public trust in the police and pledging that erring officers will be sanctioned. Calling for a culture of accountability within the force, the police chief urged officers to maintain the highest standards in their interactions with the public. The IG reiterated the force's commitment to upholding the law while safeguarding human dignity, assuring Nigerians that individuals in police custody will be treated lawfully and with respect. Activities marking the retirement of the State Head of Service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, continues tomorrow in Asaba. The activities, which began on Friday with a press briefing by the chairman of the Steering Committee and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth Development, Dr. Ngozi Mobolu, will feature a valedictory meeting with the College of Permanent Secretaries tomorrow at the Office of the Head of Service. From 2 p.m., while Tuesday, March 25, will feature a road walk to create awareness on autism, taken off from the Professor Chike Dozian Secretariat at 7:30 a.m. Wednesday, March 26 will see a valedictory visit to the state governor, followed by a valedictory session with the State Executive Council, while Thursday, March 27 will record a valedictory lecture at the Dome Event Center from 10 a.m. Friday, March 28 will witness a farewell tour of the State Secretariat and pull-out ceremony from 10 a.m. A Thanksgiving service to round up the activities will take place on Saturday, March 29 at the Grace and Progress Family Church, Asaba, from 10 a.m. Daltons, particularly civil servants, have been enjoined to participate in all the activities. Daltons have been informed that the Delta State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in collaboration with the Carter Center, will be providing free surgeries for men 18 years and above who have hydrocele or enlarged scrotum. A statement signed by the Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Mrs. Theresa Oliko, says free medical care will also be provided for persons with elephantiasis, enlarged hands and legs, with or without sores. The statement has requested those affected to report to the nearest primary healthcare center or call 0703 507 3951 or 0810 060 8207 for screening and management. The screening and management exercise, which began on March 20, will end on Monday, March 31, as a prelude to the free surgeries. On the foreign scene, Israeli Security Cabinet today approved a plan to separate 13 Jewish settlements in the Israeli-occupied West Bank from their neighboring communities. In a post on X, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich said the settlements would ultimately be recognized as independent, which followed the approval of tens of thousands of housing units across the West Bank. Reports say that Israel's opposition to ceding control of the West Bank has been deepened by its fears of a repeat of the October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas-led militants. Its military said it was conducting counter-terrorism operations in the West Bank and targeting suspected militants. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry has criticized the approval of the separation of the neighborhoods and their recognition as independent settlements, saying the gesture disregarded international legitimacy and resolutions. Hamas, the Palestinian militant group governing Gaza, condemned the move in the West Bank, describing it as a desperate attempt to impose realities on the ground and consolidate colonial occupation on Palestinian lands. At least 700,000 Israeli settlers reportedly live among 2.7 million Palestinians in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, land Israel captured in 1967 during the Six-Day War. Most countries consider Israel's settlement on territorial seized in the war to be illegal, while Israel disputed it, citing historical and biblical ties to the land. Still on the foreign scene, shortly before leaving hospital for his home in the Vatican today, Pope Francis made a brief appearance from a fifth-floor balcony of the Gemelli Clinic in Rome to a crowd of faithful gathered outside the hospital. The moment marked his first public engagement in weeks. The pontiff prepared a written message published by the Vatican while briefly appearing at approximately noon to greet the faithful and impart his blessing. In his written address, the Pope reflected on the third Sunday of Lent's Gospel reading about the barren fig tree, drawing parallels between the patient farmer in the parable and God's merciful approach to humanity. On the situation in Gaza, the Pope called for a ceasefire and that weapons be silenced immediately, calling for the courage to resume dialogue so that all hostages may be freed and a definitive ceasefire reached. After the short interaction, the Holy Father was discharged from the hospital and taken to the Basilica Santa Maria Maggiore, where he delivered flowers to place before the icon of the Virgin Salus Populi Romani before he returned to the Vatican. Prior to his window appearance and return to the Vatican, Pope Francis briefly met with medical staff and the hospital leadership to thank them for his treatment. Hospital officials indicated yesterday that the Pope would continue convalescing at his apartment in Gaza Santa Marta for at least 2 months and will require ongoing oxygen therapy during his convalescence. Doctors in a press conference yesterday said that Pope Francis would undergo a protected discharge and will still have to carry out treatment for a long time. From the business and economic sector, in a welcome development signifying major relief for Nigerian households, the cost of staple foods has significantly dropped in major markets across the country. Findings in major markets in Lagos, Kano, and other states reveal that the average prices of staple foods such as rice, beans, yam, potatoes, gari, vegetable oil, tomatoes, flour, and maize had decreased by 15 to 20% in March compared to what they were as at January. In Lagos, at the popular My 12 market, a 50 kg bag of rice, which sold between 90,000 naira to 95,000 naira in January 2025, now sells for around 75,000 naira, depending on the type of grain, either short or long grain. Also, the price of a big basket of fresh tomatoes has dropped by 70% within that period in view, falling from 120,000 naira to 35,000 naira. Gari prices have also eased, with a 4-liter paint container now selling for 3,000 naira compared to 3,500 it sold for in January 2025. According to the survey, the price of groundnut oil has decreased. A 5-liter bottle of King's oil that was sold for 23,000 naira in January can now be bought at 19,000 naira. There was also a sharp reduction in the price of beans, which formerly sold for 105,000 naira in January, but now sells for 80,000 naira. Meanwhile, a 25-liter of palm oil sold between 63,000 naira and 65,000 naira is now being sold for 45,000 naira. Onion prices have also dropped. It is now possible to buy 6 to 10 pieces of medium to big sizes of onion for 1,000 naira as against 3 or 4 pieces at the same price 3 months ago. A small bucket of sweet potatoes currently sells for 2,000 naira, down from 6,000 naira it was in January, while Irish potatoes of similar size sell for 3,500 naira from the 9,000 naira it was in January. And still in business, Nigeria's Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, has revenue dropped by 194.664 billion naira in February. According to the FAC communique, the federal government, states, and local government councils shared 1.678 trillion naira in revenue in February 2025. The February revenue was lower than 1.8448 trillion naira received in January 2025. The federal government received 569.656 billion naira, while state governments received 562.195 billion naira. Local government councils received 410.559 billion naira, while 136.042 billion naira, 13% of mineral revenue, was allocated to benefiting states as derivation revenue. The total distributable revenue of 1.678 trillion naira comprised distributable statutory revenue of 827.633 billion naira, distributable valued added tax VAT revenue of 609.430 billion naira, electronic money transfer levy EMTL revenue of 35.171 billion naira, solid minerals revenue of 28.218 billion naira, and an augmentation of 178 billion naira. In February 2025, oil and gas, royalty, and EMTL increased significantly, while VAT, petroleum profit tax, PPT, companies income tax, CIT, excise duties, import duties, and CET levies recorded decreases. And away from business now to entertainment news. Award-winning singer Davido has unveiled a 5-city tour across Europe and North America in anticipation of his highly awaited 5th studio album, 5. The tour, which kicks off on April 5 in Los Angeles, will see Davido perform his new album live alongside some of his biggest hits in iconic venues such as the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles, Brewery Ballroom in New York, and Exhibition in London. According to Davido, fans can purchase tickets starting March 27. He wrote, 30 BG, get ready. Starting Thursday, March 27th at 10 a.m. local time, get your tickets to come see me live for the 5 album release event. Sign up for early access to tickets today at the link in my bio. Initially scheduled for March 14, 5 will now be released on April 18. Davido has already released 3 tracks from the upcoming album. Be There Still, Awuke, featuring YG Mali and fans. The singer describes 5 as his story, his truth, and his growth, promising an intimate and personal music experience for his fans. Tour dates: April 5, Los Angeles, the Roxy Theater, April 7, New York, Bowery Ballroom, April 10, Atlanta, Terminal West, April 15, Paris, La Machine du Moulin Rouge, April 17, London Exhibition. And sports now. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has warned Nigerians' opponents that their remaining matches in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers were wars, and the Eagles must fight with all that they had to win. Osimhen led Nigeria to a 2-0 victory over Rwanda in the 2026 World Cup qualifier on Friday evening at the Amahoro Stadium in Kigali. The Napoli attacker netted a brace during the encounter, sending the Super Eagles to 4th position in Group C. The Super Eagles will face Zimbabwe, Rwanda, South Africa, Lesotho, and Benin Republic in their upcoming World Cup qualifying matches. Eric Chisel's side cannot afford to drop any points in these matches if they hope to qualify for next year's World Cup. Nigeria currently sits behind South Africa, Benin, and Rwanda in the Group C standings. Speaking at the Victor Atta International Airport after the Super Eagles landed in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State on Saturday, following their victory over Rwanda, Osimhen said the team was ready. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will play all their group stage matches at the 2025 Africa U20 Cup of Nations in the city of Kohogo. Aliyu Zubeiru's side will begin their campaign against young pharaohs of Egypt at the 20,000 capacity Amadugon Koulibaly Stadium, Kohogo, on Wednesday, April 30. The Group B encounter will kick off at 6 p.m. local time. Nigeria will be up against Morocco in their second group game at the same venue on Saturday, May 3, starting 9 p.m. Nigeria time. The Flying Eagles will then wrap up their Group B campaign against the Amajita of South Africa, also in Kohogo, on Tuesday, May 6, starting from 6 p.m. Nigeria time. They are currently camping in Katsina, courtesy of the state government, in the first phase of their final preparations for the Continental Championship. Côte d'Ivoire will host the biennial competition from April 26 through May 18. The 4 semi-finalists will qualify for the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup in Chile later in the year. And now to our thought for the day. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. And on that note, we conclude the news segment of Dateline. I have been your anchor, Princess Modi. Have a good evening and a blissful night rest.